Coming up outside, now inside. Christian.
That's why they give you hundreds of pounds. Now you know you're spitting. You got the whole world vibing the same. You ain't doing it to rock and change. You got love for the game.
Welcome to Love of the Game. I'm your host of the NBL1 East Show, and today we've got a special guest, Kevion Blaylock from the Albury Wodonga Bandits. How are you today, Kevion?
Pretty good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Thanks for asking. I'm really excited for the show. Before we get started, I'd like to thank our major sponsor, Precise Accounting Group. For a dream teammate, they'll get you bang for your buck during this tax season. Give the team from Precise a call. They also help big and small businesses with bookkeeping and payroll needs. So whatever you need, the team at Precise has got your back. Now, your season so far to date has been superb, but you kind of had a little rough patch there in round 7, had 2 back-to-back losses against both the Canberra teams. What did you guys take out of that game into your round 8 clashes?
A little fatigue got us the second game, but I think the first game we could have won it, but it was like we had a lot of mishaps, a lot of turnovers, and it kind of like helped us lose right there. So I think we built for it. We built on it for this past weekend, and got a win.
Now, I've got to ask you about that sort of set of excellence team. It's a lot of young talent there. Did any player stand out for you that game?
They all. I think they all like are talented, but they just young right now. So it's like they'll get into like they normal bodies. Like when they get older, they'll understand what they can do and can't do and stuff like that. But they're pretty good. They're pretty physical to be a young group of guys. So they was pretty good to me.
Now, we're going to talk about your season, averaging 20.17 points a game, shooting at a 65% clip, 6 rebounds, 1.5 steals, 1.75 blocks, and 2.5 assists. What's been working well for you this year?
I'm kind of playing in like a different position. So it's basically to my advantage. So I don't really play the 5 position. I'm usually on the 3 or the 4. So I'm using it to my advantage because we don't have like just like a big man that plays big man the whole time. It's kind of like we are interchangeable. So it really helps in my favor.
And I've got to ask you, playing with William Hickey, what's that like, man? Because this guy's averaging nearly triple-double this season, 23 points, 11 rebounds and 8 assists. What's his game? How's that helped your game?
I could just focus on the little things, honestly. He got like 11 rebounds, so we box out, he come in and take all the rebounds. So we don't have to do too much right there. He take care of the assists, and he scored a bit, so it's pretty easy. I think we make his job easy as well with him getting all the assists and stuff like that. We just run the floor.
And another player I've got to ask you about is Sean Montage. Man, that guy's a human highlight reel. What's it like, man? Does he do all those dunks in practice and things like that? Does he ever like sort of catch you off guard when he does it in game?
He very seldom do them in practice. He more of he's more craftier in practice, like working on his game offensively. I think he like holds out on the dunks a little bit until like he gets his leg warms and like the warm ups before the game and stuff like that. But you'll catch him dunking it a few times, but he be wanting me to dunk the ball before he dunks the ball. But I give him all the dunks if he want them. So it's pretty fun playing with him.
Now, I've got to ask, man, looking at your highlights, man, you have a lot of dunks yourself and a lot of big blocks. What do you enjoy more? Which one do you enjoy the most?
It depends on what part of the game we in. It's I'll take the blocks though. The blocks are more emphatic than the dunks to me, but I'll take the dunks as well.
Yeah, you've had some mad posters. Now, we're going to talk about your clash up against the Panthers this week, 86-71 victors. You guys needed that bounce back after your double loss in round 7. You had a breakout game, 27 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 steals, 2 blocks, while shooting a cool 10 from 15 from the field. Did you kind of like take that game personal where you're like, you know what, we need to get this win?
Yeah, it was more so we needed to get this win. I hate losing one game, let alone we lost 2 back-to-back games. But it all comes with it. You can't win them all, so I wanted to win this one real bad. And then we played them on the back-to-back when we went to Sydney, and it was kind of a tough game. And they didn't have their best player on the floor. and it was still kind of tough since it was a back-to-back game, and it was an early game at that. So it was kind of personal.
I got to say, do you enjoy the back-to-backs or do you enjoy the one-game rounds?
On the road, I enjoy the one game. I take a one game, but at home I take a back-to-back. Because on the road, it's long travel all the way to Sydney. It's 6 hours, 6.5, depending on how many times we stop. So I don't really like the road trips.
Yeah, I saw it when I was checking, just to double check where Albury was. They said it was about a 6-hour drive from here, and I was like, damn, man, those road trips will be a killer. But on the road trips, man, who's the sort of hype-up guy in your team?
Jacob.
Jacob?
Yeah, Jacob and Jake. They be on the ox on the bus. So they be the ones standing up, singing and dancing and stuff like that the whole time.
You guys have a team song yet? What's the
Not
team song?
unless they came up with one. I don't know what it is.
Beautiful. Now, looking at the standings, you got the Canberra Gunners coming in first place. You got Maitland second, Manly Sea Eagles coming third, who you guys are facing in round 9. You got Centre of Excellence, yourself at 5th place, and then the Inner West Bulls, Hills Hornets, and Norths rounding off the top 8. Which team that you played so far has kind of caught your eye that goes, you know what, these guys are the real deal, and we might face these guys in the finals?
Probably Maitland. They was pretty good. Well, I felt like we could have beat them, but they just played a better game than we did that day. We was off our game, and they just came in on their game. And the Gunners are pretty good. Yeah, the Gunners was pretty good too. They had a lot of shooters on their team, and well-rounded group. So those two, and we lost to them. So I want to play them again.
And you make a great point about that because those two teams have kind of have that sort of cohesion. They've played around with each other for a couple of years now. So fingers crossed, because I know you guys have a pretty new group down there at Albury. Yourself, Will Hickey, Sean Montage. Anyone else in your team that kind of stands out that you kind of go, you know what, he's a key part of this team?
Lachlan Cummins, shooter, lefty. Yeah. He was averaging, I think, 20 something last year. And he came in and we basically have like 4 or 5 guys that can average 20 on the team. But the way it goes sometimes, it might not be everybody's game at the same time. So, but him for sure, because he can shoot the ball and he can create for himself as well, just like everybody else.
Now, round 9, you guys have another doubleheader up against the Central Coast Crusaders and then the Manly Sea Eagles on the Sunday. What's your mindset heading into this sort of back-to-back?
I hate them, man. I hate them with a passion because these are the teams that get to come down here and play one game, and then when we go out there, we have to play 2, and then we leave. So it's kind of it'll be a tough one because depending on the record, no matter what the record is, they still some good teams. So you can lose any game at any time.
Now, I got to ask, man, so what's the plan for this game? Do you guys go up to Central Coast and then stay sort of in the area, or do you just come back and then head back to Manly on the Sunday?
We haven't even talked about it yet. I don't know where we're going to be shacking up at. I think it's maybe close to Central Coast and then drive all the way to Manly, but I don't know how far it is because I'm not from out here. This is my first time over here, so I don't really know like what area, what teams are in which area. So.
Now, a bit of a scouting report. Look, the Central Coast Crusaders game is going to be a great game, but I was looking at the matchups, and this Manly Sea Eagles up against yourself is pretty much my match of the round. Have you guys did a bit of scouting on the Manly Sea Eagles team? Because, they're flying high at the moment.
Not yet. We'll probably do some scouting tomorrow and a couple of days after that to get ready for it. Or we'll do it. We'll do like some touch-ups on Saturday after the game. Well, we just focused on the Saturday game first, and then we'll do what we have to do for the Sunday game.
No, beautiful. Yeah, because, man, I'll be at that game. So, definitely really, really intrigued to see how that one goes because, man, this is like pretty much like a top 4 matchup. Seeing them play, they got good team chemistry and things like that. They've been working well. They had a tough victory up against Norths, 83-82. And fingers crossed, man, you guys, it will be an interesting game. I'm really, really intrigued to see the matchup between Will Hickey and Mason Bragg, 2 point guards sort of controlling the tempo. And then yourself up there up against Eldridge. So, it should be a really, really good battle. Now, look, we're going to talk a bit about your journey. I've got to ask, how did you find yourself in Albury? Like, how did that come about?
I always wanted to come to Australia. That was one thing while I was in college. I always said if I don't stay in the States, I want to go play in Australia. And a guy hit me up, Dylan Stith, playing. I think he in the South.
Yeah,
But
Newcastle, I think.
yeah, for Casey.
Oh, yep.
Yeah. He hit me up because he was playing in Luxembourg, where I was. So he hit me up and asked me, would I like to play over in Australia? And then he helped me out a little bit to get over here. And then my agent has some ties over here as well, so it helped me out.
And how have you been enjoying the experience down under? Is it kind of everything that you kind of envision and imagine?
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I like it here. I find myself playing here a couple more years. If I'm willing to play out here a couple more years or however that works. But I'll play out here for sure. I like it.
Beautiful. Now, let's talk a bit about your journey. Where did the love of the game of basketball come from?
Um, my older brother played. He played in high school and college, and then I have a cousin that played as well. So they matched up against each other in high school before. A bunch of guys that's dunked the ball all the time, and I wanted to do it. I wanted to do all that, but I was a little shorter. So by the time I got to college, I was still short. So coming out of high school, I didn't play basketball because I didn't really like it as much. And then I hit a growth spurt, got to like 6'6". Then I just decided I wanted to play basketball, go back to school and stuff like that. So it kind of came with all that.
And I got to ask you, so those times you weren't at school, what were you kind of doing with your time?
I was doing community college, trying to get my grades up because I'm not a big fan of classwork and stuff like that. So I had to really lock in. And then basketball just added motivation to me passing my classes.
And through the whole college experience, what was your biggest takeaway from, I guess, trying to get to that next level?
Work ethic and being consistent in what you do off the floor rather than on the floor. Like in the weight room, classrooms, how you talk to people and stuff like that.
And do you kind of feel like when you get to that college period, it's not talent anymore? It's kind of like that work ethic that helps people stand out, or does talent still kind of get you by?
Talent can still get you by. It's just you have to like want to do it. It's like a effort type of thing. So yeah, talent and skills can definitely get you by depending on what the system is at the school that you're going to.
Mm. Now, during that whole period, I saw your accolades pretty much got like all these sort of player of the year, hard awards of the year. What was your kind of premier college moment? Like what kind of stands out for you during the whole college period?
Winning conference. We won conference 3 times in a row since at William Penn. We won conference 3 years in a row. And then we almost won it when I was at Queens, and we lost the game before, but we won regular season champions, and we made history with that as well. So we went 19-1 in conference. That's never been done at that school, so that was pretty much my highlights.
And that's one of the best things about those sort of moments, and when you're in a team environment, man, you kind of remember those boys and you kind of keep intact with all those memories. Do you still keep in touch with a lot of the boys?
Some of them off the grid a little bit, but they come back around. I talk to them when I can. It's kind of hard with the times out here though, so like 15 hours apart. Yeah.
And then after that sort of period, what did you get up to? How did you kind of find yourself in Luxembourg?
After college, I was talking to this agent, and ended up signing with him. And I went to his camp in Vegas, and he set me up with some coaches and stuff like that. I did pretty good at the camp. High profile guys from overseas that came back to play. I did pretty good, and then he got me in touch with the coach in Luxembourg, and then I just went out there 2 months later. 2 months later.
And what was that experience like in Luxembourg? Like, who did you play for? Like, what team?
It's a team called Grindelwald. Tough situation because you can't play 3 Americans at one time. So I was in like a tough situation, depending on like, say, I can only sub in for the Americans. So if they both playing good, then I probably won't even play as much that game. So it was kind of a tough situation, but it was a good learning experience though.
You made an interesting point about that. So are you saying you could be in the sort of 10, 15-man squad, but there's only two Americans that could be on the court at the same time? Or sorry, two imports at the same time on the field?
Yeah, two imports at the same time. Yep, can't play three, and I didn't know that you couldn't play three until I got there.
Yeah, I didn't even know that because normally I thought you have like a quota of like three imports you can have, but I didn't know they could actually have two on the court at the same
Mhm.
time. So that's a bit tricky to kind of navigate around if you're a
Yeah,
coach.
it messed with my mental a little bit, like towards
Mm.
the end. So I got over it though.
And how was that experience like kind of leaving the family for that first time and going overseas? Did you kind of deal with it well, and how did you kind of process that?
I dealt with it well. They didn't really deal with it well. My mom didn't. But in college my schools was always 15 hours away anyway, so it prepared me going overseas, stuff like that. So it was pretty easy on my part. It wasn't pretty easy on my family part because now the ticket prices go up.
Yeah, I was going to ask, man, how's Mama Blaylock doing with you coming all the way down to Australia?
Oh, she good. She'll be out. She'll be here in a month for 2 weeks, I think. Yeah, she'll be out.
Oh, nice, nice.
And yeah, wherever I go, she gonna try to clear her schedule to get out there, try to watch a game or something.
Any places in mind you want to sort of take her?
I'm still learning my way around here, but if we have time to go to Melbourne, we can go out there for sure.
Yeah, Melbourne definitely a nice place, nice part. Now, sorry, I know you were talking about before about kind of being consistent. How do you kind of keep your game fine tuned? How many hours do you put on the court a day, a week, and things like that?
When I'm in there, I'll try to be in there probably to like an hour 15. I don't try to overwork myself because I don't want to burn myself out because we still have practice and stuff like that. And so I just do the same thing, go in there, shoot, post workouts, whatever I got to do to keep me ready for the weekend. So I don't change nothing up.
Now, I have to ask you about your game in particular, man. For a sort of a big man, you got the skills. You can dunk, you can block, you can do the steals, you can shoot that three, you can shoot that jumper, and you got those little ball handles, man. I saw your back behind the back dime.
Mhm.
Do you kind of practice them in game, or does it just come naturally to you? Like you just go, nah, you know what? I feel like this is what I'm going to do, so I just back myself.
It just when I was in high school, I was shorter, so I was a point guard in high school. So it really just stuck with me. So it just helped my game out a lot.
And I know over the weekend you shot 2 from 4 from 3-pointer. Is that something you're kind of trying to implement more into your game? Because yeah, you haven't taken that many threes throughout the season, but you were shooting the ball well last weekend. Is that something we can continue to see as the
Yeah,
season
we're gonna
progresses?
continue to see it for sure because we added a guy who played here 3 years ago, Mitchell Dance. So we kind of interchangeable at the five position. So when I go out, I play more outside, and then sometimes he'll play more outside. So you'll see shots from me or him or whoever else is out there.
No, definitely. And I'll definitely be catching the game on Sunday up against Manly down there at the Northern Beaches. So yeah, fingers crossed it can be a great game, and I'll catch up with you for a post-game interview also.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, was there a play in particular that you kind of molded your game around?
Tracy McGrady, my
Tracy McGrady?
yeah, my favorite player growing up. Got to meet him as well too.
Oh, what was that experience like?
Uh, I actually played in 2017. I played in one of his international camps he was hosting, and then he actually showed up the last day, and I met him, and he invited me over to play basketball at his house. So I went over there, and I was playing over there for I went over there for three weeks in a row, something like that. And then fun fact, he actually helped me get into one of these colleges, and went on from there.
Did you get to play Tracy McGrady one-on-one?
Never got to play him. I was on his team the whole time. Never got to play against him though.
No, no, beautiful, man. It's always a great experience when you kind of meet your sort of your idol and things
Mhm.
like that. And that kind of brings me back to that Tracy McGrady, Houston Rockets, your favorite NBA team.
Mhm.
You still following them?
Yeah, I follow him a lot of times. I used to go to. I actually went to a game last year when they played against Stephen Curry, and you know how that went. Stephen Curry,
Mm.
30 points, They got the
I think
win.
that was the game Jalen Green was talking smack, and then Steph Curry just
Yeah,
got silent.
yeah.
What do you make of the Houston Rockets team at the moment? Because I know they got Sengun there. They were looking good, and then when he kind of dropped, the team kind of went up a bit. So, what's your take on the team?
I think they'll be good. If they just need one more vet, I think, because they all like 19 to 22 years old. They add one more vet, they'll be all right with Fred VanVleet.
Yeah, because I keep a close eye on the Houston Rockets also because I'll go for the Detroit Pistons.
Mm-hmm.
So the Thompson twins, and then we kind of got like a little bit of back and forth with Cade and Jalen Green and things like that.
Right.
So you happy with Jalen Green?
Yeah, and I like his game. He playing pretty good. Now I hope they don't get rid of him because now you got to go find somebody else that can do the same thing he can do.
Nah, definitely. I think Jalen Green, he's definitely staying at the Houston Rockets because, yeah, man, he's a scorer. I think he could average at least 25, 28 easy next season. And Fred VanVleet has been a great addition to that team. So that's very impressed. Now, your NFL team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, what's that experience like? Because I know they have been pretty successful over the past few years. Kind of had a bit of a tough run last year. How do you take the Pittsburgh Steelers going at the moment?
Last year I was rooting for them pretty hard. I was watching almost all of their games when I was in Luxembourg, and some nights was terrible. Some nights was good for me, but I like what they're doing. I think they added Russell Wilson over there and Justin Fields from the Chicago Bears, so they should be good this year.
Yeah, Russell Wilson, after a rocky start at the Broncos, definitely needed a fresh change of scenery, and I think Mike Tomlin will be great for him. And yes, Pittsburgh Steelers always compete, and I kind of envy them. But I think all my teams suck because I go for the New York Jets also. So I don't even know what winning feels like, and they've had winning seasons countlessly. What's your favorite Pittsburgh Steelers moment?
My favorite Pittsburgh Steelers moment, of course, the Super Bowl win 2010 when they won, when they still had Troy Polamalu and all the greats. So
yeah, that was a great team. Rodney Harrison, things like that. James Harrison. And now your dream NBA 5. If you could build a team with yourself included in it, what would it look like from current players?
With the 5 with me in there.
Or you can position yourself wherever you want.
Can I be the 6th man? I'll be the 6th man.
All right, you can be the 6th man.
All right, I have at point guard. I can go. I'll put Steph Curry at the point. Put Jordan at the 2. I'll put Kobe at the 3. T-Mac at the 4. And Shaq at the 5.
Nice. That's a solid team.
Yeah.
Now, looking towards the end of the season, I know we're kind of at the sort of just towards the back end of the season now in the 2024 NBL1 East season. What's the team sort of aiming for? Is there a top 4 spot that you're kind of trying to lock down, or just to make the playoffs and get into there with some good form?
Yeah, make the playoffs and get to the end goal. Everybody has the same end goal, I would hope. And that's to win it all. And it's been a minute since the Bandits won it all. I think since like 2015 or something like that, 2016. So, and they was in the South, I think, at that point.
Yeah, I think they kind of merged. And look, with your squad, I think you kind of have the most exciting top 3 players with yourself, William Hickey, and Sean Montage. What's next for Kevin Blaylock after this NBL1 East season? What's the plan for you?
Whatever country come calling, I go. Whatever my agent have set up for me after the season, then we can take steps forward to that. But he don't really tell me anything right now because I'm still in my season out here. So I probably won't find anything out until when I'm done out here.
Nah, nice. Well, I just want to thank you for the show and for sort of coming out here and talking to the love of the game. I'll be catching your game on Sunday up against the Manly Seagulls. So fingers crossed, it will be a great game. And I'll catch you for a little post-game interview after the game.
All right, no problem.
And I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.